Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome back to the Hydration with Heart segment, brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, the drink with purpose that keeps your body and your mission hydrated. And today's conversation is titled Turning Up the Volume on Vulnerability, the Helena Ellis effect. That's right, because in a world obsessed with perfection, authenticity, well, it's the new luxury, and few women embody that more than my guest today. Helena Ellis is one of Australia's most in-demand DJs, tastemakers, and media personalities. She's a powerhouse who's turned her passion into purpose. She's headlined sold-out Ellis Island parties, commanded festival main stages, and spun for brands like Ferrari, Gucci, Vogue, YSL, and Bacardi. She's a former #1 radio host. She's shared stages with icons from Snoop Dogg to The Weeknd to A$AP Rocky, proving that talent, grit, and glamour can, in fact, coexist. But Helena's story goes beyond the beat. She's the co-creator and co-host of the More Is Never Enough podcast. And in just months, it's become a global sisterhood that blends unfiltered honesty with high-energy humor, reminding women everywhere that you can be powerful, vulnerable, and polished all at once. Her viral Big Sister series on TikTok has reached millions, tackling everything from boundaries to burnout, self-worth to social media sanity. And through it all, she reminds us that hydration isn't just about water, it's about staying emotionally full in a world that constantly tries to drain you. I know you all mamas out there can relate. Helena Ellis, welcome to the show, superstar.
Wow, what an intro. That's blowing right. My head up here.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm going to have so much fun. So, Helena, according to Forbes, the global DJ industry hit $2.5 billion last year in 2024, yet fewer than 15% of headliners are women.
Yeah.
Now, you've handled stages upon stages. I've seen it. You've built communities, and you even launched a charting podcast that champions women's voices very recently. We're going to get to that in a minute. But what was the moment you realized you weren't just playing music, you were changing the tempo for women in entertainment?
For me, it was, I started DJing about 10 years ago. So when I started DJing in Sydney, there was only one other female hip hop DJ that I remember. And she was doing her thing, but it wasn't on a big scale. And I was like, no, I want to take this to a whole other level. Like, I want to make noise in my city. I'd go in rooms and it was just all men, and it was predominantly men. But I stood my ground, and I always had like this chip on my shoulder that all because I'm a girl, I don't want you to think that, you know, just a pretty face is getting me into rooms. I wanted to prove myself, and I worked twice as hard as every other guy in that room. And I wanted to make sure that I was the best everywhere. So doing that, I think that pushed me without me even realizing to whole new levels.
Yeah. And that's the sound of women rewriting the set list, I think. It's very important. Now I'm going to move on to the power of real talk. So your podcast, More Is Never Enough, exploded because it's real. And studies show that 70% of Gen Z trust creators who share their struggles more than those who look perfect. And you're proof of that. So what made you lean into vulnerability so publicly? And how has that honesty transformed the way people connect with you?
It started for me from my family. Before my grandmother, when she was just 18, left her village, left her hometown, my great-granddad grabbed her and said, one thing you have to remember is always, always speak your truth, and don't ever be afraid of anybody. Ever. Don't let anyone silence you. And I thought that was so powerful to tell a woman in her 60s, when women were silenced back then and told to be quiet. And, you know, so when I was growing up, I was quite shy. My grandmother grabbed me and she said the exact same thing to me. She said, don't ever let anyone silence you. Always speak your truth. Always say how you're feeling and go from there. And so that's been such a big thing for me in my life, just always being real, honest, vulnerable, because to me it's like I will attract your vibe. Your tribe attracts your vibe. You know, your vibe attracts your tribe. So if you're truthful with yourself, everyone around you is going to be truthful to you. Like, the realer you are with yourself, the realer the world is with you, and you're going to attract realness in your life. So I feel like through that truth, I attract people who want truth and see truth and love truth. You know?
This is so perfect. This is so powerful because you turned transparency into therapy, and millions are learning that strength can sound soft sometimes, and the vulnerability and the honesty. And I love Jan Papu's advice here. It generationally, it's what resonates with us. But this is a great story. So now I'm going to move on to balancing the beats and the burden. So behind the turntables and the podcasts, there's still a woman balancing career and motherhood, and more importantly, self-care. I always talk about self-care. A recent survey found that 82% of working moms feel constant pressure to, quote unquote, do it all without rest. So how do you stay grounded when the world expects you to be on 24/7 as a mom, a performer, and a creator?
That's the thing. We work a job that doesn't matter what's going on in our personal life. We have to show up. We have to smile. Like there were days where, I'd be on air and I was crying 2 minutes before from a bad relationship or something that happened in my life. And or a death of someone close to me. I'd be in tears, and you just have to automatically smile and just turn on and be happy for the world and be there for people and perform for people. That grounded me, and that made me balance my emotions, because it just forces you, and it's not that it's not a fake thing. It just forces you into a different mindset, like mind space and a mindset, and it makes you go, okay, leave the bull behind and step into this different reality. But also to fill my cup, I go to the beach. That's where I get all my inspiration. I pray every day, nonstop. And that's how a lot of my ideas come to me, for my podcast, for my shows. I just sit down and I'll just write. And it's like a stream of consciousness that comes through me, and I'll just go boom, 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 and I'll write. So, it's a bit of everything. It's a bit of turning it on, leaving the behind. It's a bit of, prayer. It's prayer is everything for me. God is everything for me. And I always put God first. And I think that more than anything grounds me, to be honest. God, and just trusting and going for it.
Now let's move on to turning criticism into chemistry. So in entertainment, everyone has an opinion. Everyone, especially online.
Yeah.
You have faced critics, but instead of letting them drain you, you've transformed that energy into connection through more is never enough.
Yeah.
So what's your process for protecting your peace, but still showing up authentically for your community?
Do you know what? When you are in front of the camera all the time and on social media, you get so many crazy comments in the comment section that you come to a point where you're just immune to it. You're just numb to it. Like you could not care less. And it's always like, older men that are just behind their fake accounts that just hate to see women doing their thing. And they're like, oh, look at these women. What are women doing behind a microphone? Get behind the kitchen. It's just that old mentality. And you just think, whatever, you're just mad because you can never be near women like us. I just look at all these comments and I laugh at them. Like I turn them funny. I think they're hilarious. If you understand the psychology of why people write what they write and why they do what they do, you just laugh at them,
Yeah.
and then, and in another sense, it gives me fuel as well of going, yeah, okay. If you're a hater, you're just jealous. You're insecure. It's very simple.
Yeah. As long as you're talking about you.
Yeah. As long as any publicity is good publicity, right?
There you go. Now let's move on to amplifying the next generation. So representation inspires replication. You've mentored and uplifted emerging female DJs and creatives who see themselves in you. So how do you use your platform, whether through your sets, your social content, or through the podcast, More is Never Enough, to create more seats at the table for the next generation of women in music and media?
I'm constantly asking women, hey, come on the show, come on the podcast. Like I've got my eye out constantly scanning for women who are just on their own, doing their own thing. I can tell when you've been in this industry for years, you can tell the real ones, and you can tell the ones that just want the 5 minutes of fame. They come and go so easily. This career is way too hard for any female or male, anyone, to just want to do this for fame. The work that goes behind it is insane. So when I see women that have that hard work ethic and they reach out to me and I can genuinely tell they want this, I will happily help them. I mentor them. I've got so many messages with so many young women where I give them advice on what to do and how to start. And I always tell them the same thing: be fearlessly yourself. Always, always. There is only one of you. There is no one can replicate you, So always show up as yourself. And if people don't like it, then they're going to like it maybe next year or in a year. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it and your time will come. Just set up your base, your foundation, and make sure it's authentically you. Because if it is, no one can knock it. No one can take it from you. You have to build from the ground up, every layer. Just go for it. So I'm just constantly trying to give it this kind of advice. And it's very simple. Be yourself. It's such a cliche. It's such a cliche because I feel like we live in a world where everyone, wants to copy each other and they see what makes you successful and they want to do exactly what you're doing. And I think when you're naturally talented at something, people think, oh, it's so easy. If she can do it, I can do it too. Well, no, it's because you found who you are, and that's what makes it so effortless. So constantly, I remind women, be yourself, do yourself, find your talents, experiment. And that is what's going to, because there's only one you. And the only person you're going to compete with is the person you were yesterday. Keep going, keep doing, Never look.
Never second guess yourself. I love that. You're not just remixing songs, you're remixing the system with all these gals that are reaching out to you. And that's legacy, not likes. So it proves that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. You've gone where there was no path and you've left a great big trail.
Yeah.
And without a doubt, you're here to help others. And that is so humbling. And that energy is going to continue to replicate. So now let's talk about when more is enough. The phrase more is never enough speaks to our generation's constant hustle. But it also, if you think about it, challenges us to define what enough really means. So for you personally, what does enough look like right now as a woman, as a mother, as a creator who's achieved so much?
When is enough? When is enough? For me, honestly, I just came back from a 1-week holiday with my daughter. And just seeing her happy and at peace and swimming in the beach and sharing moments with her, when I just look at her happy, I'm like, this is enough for me. That's all I need. Yeah. Seeing her smile and sharing these moments, those simple, quiet, beautiful moments with my daughter and bonding with her, that's enough for me. All the rest becomes irrelevant. It's still relevant. But
that's the mic drop moment. That's the mic drop moment. Your daughter, you just redefined more as meaningful, not manic. And that's the true Helena Ellis effect, because what you said again, you're enough, was your daughter.
Yeah.
I can 1000% relate to that. That would have been my answer.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's who I do everything for, because I've got a 16-year-old daughter. So when I'm, even on my TikToks, when I'm talking to the millions of women, I'm talking to my daughter. Everything I do, I've got my daughter in my mind. So I started this going, you know what? I don't want to just talk to my daughter. I want to talk to everyone's daughter and everyone's children. So I treat everyone the same way and give the same advice as I would my own child.
Beautiful. Well, we are at the end. This has been an official, amazing interview that could go on for another 30 minutes. So now I have no choice but to invite you back on with Antoinette so we could really get to the bottom of all of this.
For sure.
But it was so much fun. I mean, thank you for bringing your truth, your rhythm, and your radiant energy to us today. I had such a great time chatting with you.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to chat to you again very soon.
To our listeners, stay hydrated with heart and check out Helena's podcast at More Is Never Enough podcast for raw, real, and relatable conversations that remind you enough is already within you. And you can follow her directly on the gram, on TikTok, all over social media at DJ Helena Ellis for daily motivation and empowerment set to the perfect beat. And of course, keep your cup full with Once Upon a Coconut, the hydration that fuels purpose, passion, and possibility. Until next time, stay bold, stay beautiful, and stay hydrated with heart. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.